Yo, what's up, NewsDecoded fam? Before we dive deep into this wild ride, do us a solid, hit that subscribe button, smack the like button, and drop a comment below. Your support keeps us bringing you the realest talk out there. Now let's get into it. Alright, listen up, cause things are getting spicy. Our girl, Tulsi Nair, the one who's the Director of National Intelligence, she just dropped a criminal referral on the Department of Justice. Like, she sent it over, hot off the presses. And the big question everyone's asking is, who should the DOJ go after in this whole mess? Specifically, who in the Obama administration? Now, from what I've been reading, and trust me, I've been devouring this stuff like it's a fresh pizza, the big fish, the guy who started this whole thing, was none other than President Obama. Yeah, Barack Hussein Obama. Heard of him? Because according to what's out there, he was the ringleader, the head honcho, the guy at the top of the food chain. This whole thing, it kicks off with him. And get this, just moments ago, President Obama's office finally responded to all this noise. Tulsi, she accused his administration of using what she called manufactured intelligence, basically fake intel, about Donald Trump and Russia. So you tell me, is everyone paying attention now? Because this is how the mainstream media tries to play us. They're spinning this whole thing as Trump trying to distract us from his own mess with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, seriously? Remember that Rolling Stone headline? Trump goes full fascist. Whether you agree with that or not, the vibe they're pushing is that it's time to go after people. They want you to believe Trump's just desperate to get the nation's eyes off his Epstein ties. And guess what? Obama's office, they're echoing that same sentiment. Now, when Obama finally broke his silence through his office, he basically confirmed it. He's like, yeah, he's guilty. It's not even a question. You know, I'm usually the guy who says, let's give it time, let's see how it plays out. But this, it's right there. He's guilty. What they did, that was treason. That was every single bad word you can think of. They tried to steal the election. They tried to mess with the election. They pulled off stuff that nobody has ever even imagined. You've seen some pretty messed up countries out there, right? I've seen some pretty messed up countries. But you have never ever seen anything like this. Today, Trump just kept on with his totally desperate attempt to switch the national conversation away from his connections to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. This comes after his bizarre rant this past weekend where he hinted that prominent Democrats should be prosecuted. And then he just straight up said it today, when he was asked which Democratic figures the Justice Department should target, especially after Tulsi Nair called for Obama administration officials to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Man, Trump just couldn't get Obama's full name out fast enough, could he? Even though that name's probably on the tip of his tongue every single day. He just blurted out. The leader of the gang was President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And as I've said before, it's just wild, almost ironic, that the man who was sued for refusing to rent to black tenants has a black man living rent-free in his head every single day. Think about that for a second. And Obama's office. They fired back today. They put out a statement saying, out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. They went on to say, these bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. We all know what it's a distraction from, right? Come on, just say it. Barack. They're pushing this narrative that nothing in the document released last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia influenced the 2016 election, but didn't actually mess with any votes. And get this, these findings were apparently affirmed in a 2020 report by the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee. You know, the one overseen by none other than Marco Rubio. Yeah, that guy. And if that wasn't enough, Trump went and posted some crazy AI video of Obama getting arrested in the Oval Office. Like, is that even normal? Does he need a reminder that there's only one former president with a mugshot right now? And I'll give you a hint. It's the one with the second worst first-year summer approval rating. Guess who had the worst? His own first-year approval rating the first time around. Talk about a cell phone. Under all this fire, Donald Trump has resorted to just trolling Barack Obama with this bizarre AI video. He's trying everything to distract from the Epstein files firestorm that's engulfing him. The video looks like manipulated footage from an Oval Office meeting back in November 2016 between Obama, who was president at the time, and Trump, who had just won the election days before. The digitally altered video shows FBI agents bursting into the meeting, pushing Obama to the ground, and then slapping handcuffs on him. And as if that's not enough, the fake video then shows Obama in an orange jumpsuit, pacing around in a cell. This whole stunt comes after Trump administration officials started pushing these allegations that Obama and his crew manufactured intelligence about Russia interfering in the 2016 election. And we all know why Trump's doing this, don't we? Trump's history with Epstein has been under the microscope, and his administration has been trying to basically bury the whole story. So, let's break this down for a second. What happened to the lawyer who got Epstein that ridiculously lenient plea deal when he was first busted on sex trafficking charges in Florida? Oh, that's right. Trump hired him to be his own lawyer. What happened to the U.S. attorney who gave Jeffrey Epstein that bizarrely lenient plea deal? Oh yeah, Trump put him in his cabinet in his first term. So, who then prosecuted Epstein a second time, when he was brought up on federal charges? Oh, that was the line prosecutor from the Southern District of New York, SDNY, whom Trump inexplicably fired last week. And who was in charge of the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Prisons when Epstein then, well, killed himself in federal custody? Ah, that would be President Donald Trump. Who bragged to a reporter about how much Epstein seemed to like younger women? Donald Trump. Who said Epstein was a lot of fun to be with? Donald Trump. Who bragged that he was friends with Epstein for 15 years? Donald Trump. Who flew on Epstein's plane at least 7 times? Donald Trump. And who now says that everybody needs to stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein right now? You guessed it, Donald Trump. The answers there are pretty clear. The Wall Street Journal last week reported on this super juicy birthday note that Trump allegedly wrote for Epstein back in the early 2000s. And what did the president do? He opted to sue the Wall Street Journal and its owner, Rupert Murdoch, for publishing the piece. Rupert Murdoch, mind you, is a guy who has literally gone to bat for Donald Trump, to the tune of costing him over $700 million. See, the president, he believes he's got a superpower. He thinks he's got this legal superpower because of those recent lawsuits he settled with Disney and Paramount. And he also thinks he's got a rhetorical superpower, the ability to tell his supporters that anything he doesn't like is fake. That's why he was throwing around the word hoax earlier this week. In fact, I'm pretty sure he was using the word hoax because he knew this Wall Street Journal report was coming down the pipeline. This story didn't just pop up in an hour or two. Those Wall Street Journal reporters had been working on this thing for days. So the president, probably knowing this might come out, started claiming the whole Epstein affair was a hoax. That's a word he believes is his superpower to shut down conversation, to turn off people's brains, and to just make them move on. The problem, though, is that in this case, that rhetorical superpower ain't really working too well, because the Wall Street Journal story includes some seriously damning, but also just plain uncomfortable and embarrassing details. These quotes, they make people's skin crawl, and I'm pretty sure anti-Trump folks are already printing them on bumper stickers. So, rhetorically, he's weak. And then, on the legal front, his claim about a lawsuit. Yeah, he was able to sue CBS and get some cash for his library. But in this case, a lawsuit isn't going to change what's already been published. This is one of those situations where he just doesn't have a strong legal case against the Journal or Murdoch. No, not at all. And as Obama said, it's a distraction. A huge distraction from the Epstein files, which even his own supporters are still looking for answers on. On Thursday, Trump, begrudgingly, ordered Pam Bondi to go move a judge to unseal the grand jury testimonies related to the Epstein case. Now, I want to be crystal clear. Absolutely nothing is going to come of that, and I'll explain why in a bit. But the point here is that MAGA, his own base, revolted against Trump, and we won. But the question still hangs in the air. Why? Why has it come to this? Like, what are we even doing here? What is Trump hiding? Why is he going down like this over Jeffrey Epstein? Trump is playing games. He totally is. I'm sorry, but he is flat out playing games right now. In fact, he's doing that thing we always felt the press was doing to Trump supporters, thinking we're stupid. Like, okay, they don't know much about how the law works. If I just say I'm going to unseal something, then it looks like I'm acting, and then I'm going to call everyone who doesn't agree a troublemaker. He knows exactly what he's doing. What is the connection between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump? Because clearly, there's something here that's making him pause. And this whole thing is a distraction from the never-ending 2 weeks of when a deal may or may not come to fruition. Remember all those promises? You're going to see over the next month or so, we're going to roll out dozens of deals. Oh, there were so many coming, and you're going to see deal after deal. This is going to start coming next week, and the week after, and the week after. We've got lots of them in the hopper. We're going to announce a whole bunch of deals over the next week or so. And then, the classic, are you confident we can get the big ones, the big deals done? I have them done. The next 2 weeks are going to be weeks for the record books. That was just a couple days ago, mind you. So far, only 4 trade agreements have been announced, not exactly dozens. And most notably, this is a massive distraction from the rising costs that consumers and businesses are having to deal with across the country. General Motors shares, T-boned by tariffs. The stock is diving several percentage points, like 7+%, after the auto giant reported a 32% slump in quarterly profits due to a $1.1 billion hit from the tariffs. And GM says it's actually going to get worse in the current quarter. This whole thing is a distraction from his absolutely abysmal performance thus far. And don't even get me started on the people you don't want to be hearing from on this. Like, I think having border crossings down to 0 is an incredible achievement. The problem is, the rest of the immigration policy is in absolute shambles. His approval rating on immigration ranges from a -27, that's in Gallup, to a -19 in CNN, and a -5 in the new Quinnipiac poll that's out today. He's in the red, or underwater, however you want to say it, on deportations as well, which was one of his key promises. In the CNN poll, his approved strongly number is down to -21. It's the lowest it's been at any point in either of his administrations. Why do you think that is? Because he's not doing a good job at being president. All right, that's it for this deep dive into the political Wild West. Remember, folks, the truth is more important than ever. Now, before you bail, here's a taste of our Hot Files segment, where we expose the real truth. You know, it's wild how the lines get blurred between what's real and what's just noise. This whole situation with Trump, Obama, Epstein, and the alleged hoaxes, it's a prime example of how deep the rabbit hole goes. We're talking about allegations of manufactured intelligence, bizarre AI videos, and legal battles that are seemingly more about public perception than actual justice. It leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What's the end game here? And who's really pulling the strings behind the scenes? It's not just about politics anymore. It's about power, manipulation, and the constant battle for the narrative. And that's a wrap for this edition of News Decoded. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to join the conversation. We'll be back soon with more stories that matter. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out. News Decoded, fam.